Hello, everybody! It's so nice to be back. It's good to be back in Philosophy Tube headquarters. It's good to be back on the stream. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so happy to be streaming again. It's nice, it's nice. So hey, sorry I'm a few weeks late. I've been in Romania doing a TV series. We can talk about that later if you're curious. But I was just in like a hotel room and I didn't have my gear and stuff. So hey, good to be here. It is a hot one here in London. Oh boy, it has been a sweaty day. I've been walking around in my t-shirt and my short shorts because that's the kind of thing you can do when you're a girl. It's one of the best bits. So good to be back. As always, check in with the music and the levels. Let me know where it is. What else? Oh yeah, we like to, if it's your first time on the stream, I'm a bit rusty because it's been a while. If it's your first time on the stream, then we like to keep it chill. We like the chat to be a nice place. We like to go over the last video that I made and talk about like how I made it. So we'll talk a little about like behind the scenes stuff and like some of the feedback that I got. And also like hang out and answer like any questions and stuff that you've got. We'll probably go for about 90 minutes. We usually like to start by lighting a candle, but I don't have any in the office at the moment because I've been like away and then I just got back. And today's actually my first day out of quarantine, because when you get back in the UK, you've got to like quarantine for like a certain number of days. So yeah. I've been doing the quarantine madness. I've just been like imprisoned in my flat for the last several days. And today was my first day out, so I went and got like my eyebrows done and I got my nails done and I got everything done. So light your candles now, because it's stream time, baby. Yeah, don't worry, I will turn the music up a little bit. I have done it. How hot is it today in London town? Let me check in. It is, oh boy, it is 22 degrees in real money. Don't know what that is in fake American money. Somebody has sent me something. It's a view once video and I've clicked on it, so I kind of have to watch it now. Someone has just messaged me a video, so we're just all watching that now. This is the stream. This is an exciting stream. It's just me watching video. But yeah, it's a very, very hot day in London town. That's why I've got this. It's this is keeping cool. Lovely. Wow. Yeah, it is very warm. But welcome to the stream. So, I mean, we might as well dive right in. I might open the window, and if it's too loud, then, because I mean it is roasting in it, but there's no air conditioning in my country. So I'm gonna open the window. If it's too loud, I'll close it again. Come on. There we go. That's just made me even hotter. Boiling. Okay, so the last video I made, cast your minds back 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Cast your mind back to ignorance and censorship. Here it is. So long-time viewers of the stream will remember that when I make a video, I have 3 criteria that I judge myself on. Wow, Danny, first super chat of the night. Very generous. Thank you, Danny. You have also just reminded me the rule to tell you about super chats. If anybody does super chat me a question, then I will try to answer it. If you do super chat me questions, make them short. But yeah, so I have 3 criteria for judging my own videos. One is, was it made from curiosity, not ambition? And I think in this case, definitely it was. I'm very interested in this idea of ignorance and what do I do as an educator when people don't want to know, when they don't want to learn? I'm interested in that as a topic. So like ideology, the video I did before this, Jordan Peterson's ideology, kind of touched on that a little bit, and I was interested in like continuing to mine that vein. So thank you very much, Ekevu Pointy Horse. So yeah, was it made from curiosity, not ambition? Yes, I think it was. Hi, John the Duncan. Was it made out of compassion for myself and others? Is my second criteria. And yes, I think it was. I can't think of any ways in which I was non-compassionate. I think I was compassionate to myself and others whilst making this, and in both like in the writing and in the actual making of it. I did have to work quite hard to make it, but it was kind of a labor of love. So, and lastly, is it my unique creative vision? Yes, I think it was. And actually, I did get quite a nice comment from somebody that I'll be able to show you. Who was it who said, it was Kyle Jones who said, I thought this was one of your best videos, and it was like a return to the old style of like explaining philosophy, but without sacrificing the kind of new artistic expression. And I agree with that. I thought I balanced it quite nicely. It was fun. Yeah, it was a good one. I thought the script was good. It had like a good structure to it. I did that thing that I always do where I have a recurring joke about the kind of the reading the names out, and that's what gives the video structure. Is like it nicely breaks it up. So using jokes as a way to structure the video, it's good. So that was fun. And whilst we're here, we might as well look at some other comments as well. Oh, so there was one comment that I did want to highlight. Jim Groff. Now, I mean, like, old school philosophy tube heads will know. I mean, you've got to be here like since the start. Like, none of you have been here as long as Jim, because Jim was my first ever subscriber 7 years ago. 7 years, as of May the 31st. I've been doing this show 7 years. Oh boy. But yeah, Jim was my first subscriber, and I think 3 or 4 years ago, Jim like publicly unsubscribed. He like posted a message being like, I'm unsubscribing because you've quote become a feminist. And I was hurt by that, like, because I was like, oh, Jim's been here since the start, and I was hurt by this. And now Jim's back. Jim left a comment, and I was just like, I would choose stars, Bella Amy, because they're pretty. But Jim's back, and now I'm a woman, and Jim's like totally cool with that. We had a nice little chat in the replies, and he's like, yeah, I've been here a while. I've actually been back a while, but I didn't comment, and like, good to see you. So like, the legend returns. It's Return of the King. Jim has come back. That nature is healing. Jim Groff has returned to Philosophy Tube. So that was lovely. That was a really nice surprise for me. And complete coincidence, he posted this on the 7-year anniversary of the first video of Philosophy Tube, which was... Oh, by the way, this is the post-mortem stream, but it's also the 7-year anniversary stream. I have some Diet Coke to celebrate. I am hoping to have a party once lockdown lifts in London. Look, we're supposed to be out of lockdown on the 21st of June, and I'm hoping to have a party with like all my friends and stuff, because we're all getting that vaccine. I had one in Romania. I'm hoping to get my second like relatively soon. So like, once we come on lockdown, I do want a party. What other comments did we have? Oh yeah, so quite a few people talked about. So if you remember in the video, I talked a little bit in this section about Section 28, which was the British law. And quite a few people shared stories of how Section 28 affected them, which was kind of good to hear. Good to hear like people realizing what the kind of real impact of that was. And also there was a nice comment from Ignis Phoenix. But first, thank you Lemon Planter and also George Casimus for those super chats. That's kind of you both. But Ignis Phoenix left this great comment. I'll read it out in case it's quite small. Thanks very much, Emma Doty and Damien Carl Coriza. Yes, I'll tell you about Simba in a minute. So Ignis Phoenix said, oh, like they had a nephew who was trans, and I have a nephew who's trans, and realized that he transitioned when he started like hanging around with other trans people, and also like realized that Jim Sterling started transitioning when they hung around other trans people, and so they kind of have this vibe like it's just like almost like contagious or whatever. And they say, I get it now, you can't decide what you are unless you know what it is. Obviously not learning about this is super detrimental to the child, since there's less they can do about the physical characteristics after puberty. Interesting stuff definitely needs to be taught in schools. Thanks, Kate Robinson. And I thought that was a real moment of growth. Well, it sounds like they've already done the growing, but it was just a really nice sentiment. I was really happy that my video was able to like facilitate that moment of clarity. That was really nice. That's really cool. It's like those are the kind of moments that it's like makes me happy about my job. I'm like, good. I'm doing good in the world again. Although not everyone agrees. Yami Ponyo, thanks Olivia Smith. Yami Ponyo left a cool comment, and they said, you lasted this long before you got political about race. And there were a few comments like this. Yami Ponyo, if you're watching, I don't mean to single you out. There were a few people who said things like this. I think it's hard to talk about the stuff I wanted to talk about in this video when people are kind of determined not to listen, really. I mean, race isn't a biological category. It is a political category, so any discussion of it is inevitably political. So I had that nice moment that I talked about earlier, but then there's moments like this where I'm like, I don't know how to reach people when they don't want to learn. Like, I'm a public educator, but sometimes people don't want to listen, and I feel like this video and also the previous one, Jordan Peterson's ideology, have kind of been me examining the failures of Philosophy Tube as a project. Now that the channel is in the phase that it is in, I'm starting to like, analyze what it's done well and what it's done badly, and like when it's not necessarily done badly, but like what the limitations of the format are. And I think this kind of brings into sharp relief one of them, is that sometimes people like don't want to listen, and that's hard. I'm gonna try, the next video is currently still in the research phase, but I'm thinking I'm gonna try something to try and get around this and maybe pull the rug out at the end. I don't know, it's all very loose in my head at the moment. I'm also looking for a venue. I need quite a specific venue to film it in, so the next video, I wanted to have it ready in time for the end of June. It may end up being early July. No, Olivia Smith, I don't know when that is, I'm afraid. Yeah, just because it's quite complicated and I need quite a complicated set to film in. But we'll see. I'll do my best for you all, as always. So yeah, this comment kind of really brought something home to me. I think I need to sit on it a bit more. But there are a lot like this one. So yes, the owl was definitely real. Let me show him to you. Beep, there he is. Simba the owl. He was very, very lovely. So Simba, how did I? Well, I had this idea. So this set, the room with all the books, I was originally going to film in that set. Well, I became aware of it a couple of months ago. Like, I was chatting with the team about Jordan Peterson's ideology, and they said, we know the guy who runs this studio, this recording studio with all these books and stuff. Would you be interested in that? And I said, no, I don't think that's right for this video, but I'll kind of file that away because I think it would be good. And then when it came time to do this video, I was like, you know what, that would be perfect. Daytona, you are asking the wrong woman in my family. You want to ask my mum about tennis because I do not care. So yeah, I went to this room and it was on this library, and I said, make it like a library of Athena. That would be cool. And it's I had this opportunity for a running joke about getting the wrong book. And then I thought, well, what if I just had an owl? Wouldn't that be cool? Originally I was going to be like, well, I'll get the stuffed owl. And then I couldn't get a stuffed owl. And then I was like, well, what if I just got a live owl? How hard is that? So I emailed a bunch of owl people and was like, hey, do you have an owl? And they were like, yeah. Well, a few of them got back to me. And eventually one of them was like, yeah, I can get you an owl. I know an owl guy, an owl dealer. So, coincidentally, I was like ages ago talking to someone on a dating app who like works at an owl sanctuary, and then it didn't work out, it didn't go anywhere. And I was like, oh shit, I really wish I hadn't like let that potential relationship go, because I could have gotten a free owl. But she did explicitly say that she did not want people dating her to get owls, and I was like, fair enough. But anyway, I emailed the owl people, and I was like, yo, can I get an owl? Like, here's where it is, like, here's where we're shooting, this is what we need it to do. And they're like, yeah, that's like super doable. So they sent me like a bunch of, they sent me like 6 owls to choose from, pictures of them, not in the post. And it came down to 2. So there were some that were like big owls. I was like, I don't want a big owl, I want like a little owl to kind of sit there quietly, not like cause too much fuss. I'm not gonna like make it do tricks and shit. I just want like an owl, like kind of as like a living prop. Maybe not as like, well, if it was a human, that'd be bad, but like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted an owl. And it came down to 2. There was Simba, who's a tawny owl, or there was another one they offered me who was like this big. It's like a tiny, tiny little owl. But he had like really big eyebrows and very, very bright eyes. And I thought, oh, he's kind of got a clash against the background. So I went with Simba, who, as you can see, kind of like, not really blends in, but like you can see how he goes with the environment. Thanks, Jan Vetulani. Yeah, but you can see how he like goes with the vibe of the room, whereas the little guy with the big white eyebrows and the stuff, it kind of clashed. So yeah, so I got an owl, and he turned up. They brought it. We did. So we arrived sort of 9 a.m. just before I was there at 8:30. I got into makeup and costume whilst the guys were setting up the first shot we did, which was this one. Great face. That's nice. Thank you, Danny, for that super chat. So yeah, this was the first shot we did. This was like the first thing in the morning. We did this shot. We did this, and then the owl people arrived, and we did all of Simba's shots, including the close-ups. You can actually see towards the end in the close-ups he's starting to fall asleep. He was falling asleep by the end, because obviously it's the middle of the night for him, because he's nocturnal. Taking an owl in the day and putting him underground, that's like complete 180 inversion for an owl. Like, he must have been like, oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. But he was there. John, no, I didn't. I did not get to touch the owl, because if you touch him too much, he kind of ruffles his feathers. So they put him on his little stand. He came with a stand, and we gave him a few minutes to adjust. And I mean, he came with 2 handlers, and I said to them when they came in, I was like, obviously, like, the safety of the animal is my #1 priority. Thank you very much, Eli Powers. So I said, yeah, the safety of the owl is my #1 priority. Like, if he looks uncomfortable, if he's like signaling you saying he needs to go to his trailer, just let me know. We'll take a break. But we smashed through all of Simba's stuff, and then we broke for lunch. He did not shit on the floor, apart from right at the end when they moved him, and he shit perfectly on the one bit of the floor that it was okay for him to shit on. So it was carpeted, apart from one bit that was linoleum, and the aim was like, bam, perfect. And we're like, legend. I brought wet wipes, planning for this, all done. Because there was me in the room, there were the 2 owl handlers, 2 camera crew, my makeup artist, and the guy who runs the venue, and we were all there, 7 of us in the room, plus the owl. They were all like masked, obviously. But yeah, he was perfect. And then in the afternoon, we did all the rest of the video. It's all one room, so all of this stuff, that's just like 180. You just flip the camera around, and this is there because it's a recording studio. It's that's also why the sound was so good. It's a recording studio, and yeah, we did it there. Actually, that light bulb there. So this moment. This moment where the light bulb comes on. That was that was kind of an accident on the day. So we were doing this thing where then this light bulb was hanging there and it was kind of like in the shot. And then the owner of the venue was like, oh, I can like take it down for you, but it'll take a few minutes. And I was like, wait. What if we just like leave it in, and then at a key moment I'll change the script and I'll look up and you'll flick it on and I'll put a ding sound effect. And it'll be like I've had an idea. And that'll give us the transition into the next bit. And then like, oh, that's great. So in this shot, the owner of the venue is standing just outside the frame, waiting for his cue to hit the light switch. And then he hits the light switch and he goes, ding! So that was a really, really nice moment. I love it when we do live shoots like that, and like little things that wouldn't otherwise have happened, like come out. It's cool, like things you don't plan, but like if you just sort of stay sensitive to the vibe of the piece, it like comes through. It's cool. So yeah, that was good. That's basically all the owl stories, and then he went on his merry way and probably went back to bed, and we shot the rest of the video. So yeah, that was the owl. Anyway, we had some more comments. One from Casey Mang, who said, this was another critical comment. I like to go with the critical ones. Let it never be said that I don't consider negative feedback. Casey Mang said, this isn't legitimate thought, it's propaganda. Your entire argument is literally everything that your side does. And I think I got a few comments like this, and what I take Casey to be implying is that I'm talking about like deliberate ignorance and censorship, but like that's what like my side does, right? And I think Casey is completely correct. Absolutely bang on. Like, this video is kind of a spiritual sequel to the previous one, Jordan Peterson's ideology, in which I explicitly say that everybody has an ideology of some kind. And I think these same tactics, this doxastic anxiety, I mean, the doxastic anxiety, the example I use of that in the video is me. So I'm not saying that this is what you're doing and like this is like, oh, this is like, oh, the conservatives are doing this. I very deliberately don't do that in my videos, and I'm trying to do it less and less. Because it makes it hard, like we talked about earlier, it makes it hard for people to listen and learn. So yeah, Casey, if you're watching, like I think you're right. Like, but that doesn't mean that the concepts I've explained aren't useful, or that everyone's doing it equally. But like that's kind of for you to decide. That's not really my goal, you know. I think there's this tendency, and I have to say, I think over the last couple of years, as the online scene has shifted, I think this tendency is growing. I think there's a tendency to view learning and knowledge as competition, in particular as a political competition. And my channel was created explicitly in opposition to that, because I think it prevents people from learning, which is why I try to disguise my political affiliations as much as possible on the show, or at least to minimize them as much as I can, or to like not make them relevant. And it's also why I completely reject any kind of formalized debate. People keep asking me, oh, you should debate this person or that person. I'm like, no, never. Never. Because I genuinely, as an educator, think that does not help people learn.